Hey, good morning. Welcome to Awakenings Within. And my coffee cup this morning really tells the story. I went live on my other page. And
did you now?
Bob wasn't with me. I was like, where's Bob? Where's Bob?
Mm-hmm.
So just letting you all know, Sandy went to the wrong page to go live. I guess some of you did join me over there, which was really nice of you. Thank you.
So do we have a new nickname? Wrong Way Sandy?
Oh my gosh. Mugs up. Not a morning person. She totally messed it up today.
Well, to be completely honest, I sort of feel the same way. I woke up this morning and I don't know what, but I was just like really disoriented. So I like headed straight for the coffee machine going, please let this coffee wake me up. I don't know if it's the weather, the change of seasons, the light. I have no idea. But I mean, I like you. I woke up this morning going, where am I?
It's like, oh, it's cold out too. So hi, Michael. He says, what about Bob? Exactly. What about Bob? Where was Bob?
We almost had a show without him.
You could have started your own show right then. I'd have been like talking to myself. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to do this by myself today. I don't know. I was like, So mugs up, everyone.
Yeah.
These little ones. Okay. I love these coffees. Did you ever go to the diners? Like, this is like the perfect diner cup.
Oh yeah.
And, I was at, during the pandemic. Hi, happy Monday, Larry. Hi, everybody that's come. During the pandemic, since I didn't really know how to grocery shop, which is hilarious that you don't know how to grocery shop during the pandemic. I had picked up this soup that I really wouldn't have bought, but because people were like looking at me because I touched it, I was afraid that they thought that I would give them COVID from touching the soup that I picked up. So I threw it in the cart anyway. It was like $5 soup. I was like, I didn't want this stupid soup. But anyway, I saw this coffee cup next to that whole section and I threw it in the cart. I'm like, I'm touching this. I'm buying this.
Did you go? There you go.
Exactly.
Nobody wants it now.
Because I felt so judged. These people are judging me on what I'm touching at the grocery store. This is bad. This is really bad. I think they still do, but now I don't care. There's a difference between in the beginning and now. I'm like, I'm not going to give you COVID by touching the soup. It's not happening.
I have noticed, I'm sort of sometimes when I'm out, I'm so into my head, I don't notice. But I've noticed since this whole COVID thing happened that people are very sort of suspicious. Everybody's kind of watching each other. Yeah. People aren't really quite sure. Are you a masker, not a masker? Are you paranoid, not paranoid? Right? It's like nobody quite knows what they're dealing with. And so there's this sort of uneasiness, it's like, you know, like going into a restaurant or, you know, going through a door. People don't know whether to open the door for you and let you in. You walk, you know, foot away from you,
awkward.
or do I open the door and walk in by myself and you open your own damn door? You know what I mean?
I know. You're like,
No,
the
it's
best
like
one.
everything's socially awkward right now.
Yes. Go ahead and pull up something and go, hey, look at this, and watch what people do. They go, you touched that. That's on your face. I know it's got COVID. Like, don't show me a picture on your phone. It's not happening.
But what's odd is then there's a whole other group of people that have none of those boundaries, right? And they're just like, you know, and I've had people.
Can I have a drink of your drink?
No, but I've had people even, you know, they'll just come charge and they go, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's okay.
You're like,
I'm not one of those. But then I've other people that, you know, you could just have that deer in the headlights look. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, when they're just sort of standing there and waiting for everything to clear so that they can walk through. And then you're just like, okay, that's stay 5 feet away from that one.
Yeah. Well, and they look like they're shameful. Like, they have this little cowering, like, I'm going to stand right here. And I know I stepped one step closer to you. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. You know, and you're like, oh, really?
Well, it sort of reminds me, remember in junior high when you went to your first dance in the gym?
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
All the boys were on one side, all the girls were on the other side. And there was just this awkwardness. Like nobody really wanted, how do you get from this side of the gym to that side of the gym? Because you really wanted to ask that girl, but you were so totally afraid that all your friends were going to make fun of you, so you didn't do it. You know, I mean, it's like this sort of awkwardness, and I feel that every time I'm out, like there's this weird, you know, awkwardness. Like, do we dance or don't we dance?
Good morning, Dr. B. All right, we have all the guy crew. What's up with that? Where's my girls? Where's my girls?
Yeah.
Oh, he's on quarantine. Oh.
Oh yeah, he got it.
Oh.
You didn't know that? I guess I should have told you. I guess I don't really tell other people who's got what, just because it's private information. But yes, Dr.
exactly.
That's share a little bit about his experience.
Yeah, I would love you to tell us about it, Dr. B.
You know, he ended up, interestingly enough, getting it because he was being kind to a neighbor.
Oh no.
He was helping a neighbor.
Oh no.
And they ended up having it and gave it to him. No. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was being kind.
He was.
So yeah, Dr. B, tell me how it went. I would like you. Yeah, please tell us.
The battle was more mental than it was physical.
Because, well, that's my fear, is that I'm going to go through the laundry list or inventory of all the people I was around and go, oh my God, now I got to go tell all these people that I haven't, I was exposed, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, but but that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is when you get it, because of where the media has taken things and all of the social media stuff, you tend to go worst case scenario. I'm dead.
Right.
Like this is a death sentence, right?
Oh,
even though less than 0.02 or whatever the statistics are so low.
Depending on the comorbidities. Yep.
Exactly. Yep. And all that. So you end up, you know, so it becomes a mental battle, and he should share his own story, but it becomes a mental battle, right? You're fighting your own, you know, thing.
Right. He said staying home is like being in jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can tell he's really introverted. Not.
Yeah. So
he's like me.
The worst punishment for Dr. B is tell him to go to his room by himself.
Oh my. Yeah, that's I don't know. I'm easing into this. I eased into this. I'm surprised at myself that I extroverted, that I've been okay. But I think it's because I started doing this show.
Your outlet.
Honestly, I think this was my therapy. So it was my therapy on top.
You know, I always think like a Pink Floyd song. So there's a line, one of the Pink side, the lunatic is on the lawn. It's like, it's let out. The lunatics are out of the asylum. So that's what our show is, really. It's two lunatics that are out of the asylum.
Oh, thank you. Oh, what?
Exactly. Well,
I'm okay.
Here's a quote from another artist.
Oh, goodness.
The trouble with normal is it always gets worse.
What line is that from?
That's from Bruce Cockburn. He's a Canadian artist.
Well, and hence why Sandy doesn't know.
There you go.
I usually know music really well.
That's why One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is such a fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Because
all the crazy people end up getting out. But if you really want to watch a fascinating movie, watch Don Juan DeMarco.
Don Juan DeMarco. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Don Juan DeMarco stars Johnny Depp, Marlon Brando, and I don't know if it's Andrew McDowell or whatever, but basically the storyline is Brando's old curmudgeon-y psychologist who's about ready to retire.
I remember that movie, actually. Yeah, I just didn't know the name of it.
Don Juan. Right. And so,
yes.
Marlon Brando is supposed to cure Johnny Depp, right? Because Johnny Depp's crazy. Well, anyways, by the end of the movie, everybody realizes that being sane is no fun.
Yeah.
And so it's more fun to be crazy and be delusional. Like so
people drop their expectations of you.
Don Juan.
Well, that's the thing is people drop those expectations of you. So if you start out at the crazy point, then you only have, you have a lot of room.
Right.
We need a lot of room.
The reason the movie is good for me is I tend to be like, I get lost in the maze of my mind and all these serious,
oh my goodness,
thinkings and
I don't want to even think about what your mind inside.
Yeah, so it's like craziness, like escaping every once in a while from my own mind. So I love the movie because like, yeah, maybe being insane every once in a while, not rational.
Yeah, I really do need a vacation. Maybe I should try that out.
Yeah. Get out.
Well, so my sister was over the weekend and she left me one of these.
Donna?
Yes. So she left me the People magazine.
She's witty.
You like my sister? She's witty? Yes, she is. She's very witty. We couldn't be more opposite if we tried.
That's good.
I'm not witty. I'm not witty. I'm just goofy, whatever. I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Dr. B
you could say witty, but she also, if you want to use another double, is wicked humor. She's
got sarcastic. She's sarcastic.
Yes. Wicked. Like it's backhanded.
So I feel like when I opened this, I was like going, okay, I'm about to dumb down my intelligence factor. That was one thing. Okay. Secondly, what am I going to find in here? Because she had already looked at it and said, I don't know half the people that are in it.
Show me the cover. Oh, People magazine.
People.
Oh, the Battle of the Brothers. Yeah.
Yes. So, of course, I like the Prince Harry William thing. I mean, that's wow.
Right.
But anyway, what I was really, really happily to find in this trash magazine, that on page number 55 was a story about a guy who lost his wife in a car accident, and it was a little town. To this guy, he was distracted driving. He wasn't drunk driving. He was just distracted driving. Okay. And he hit her car and unfortunately she passed away. So it's about forgiveness. It was about the guy forgiving and that they're like best friends now, him and the guy. Isn't that crazy? Like I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a really nice story in the middle of People magazine of all things.
I've heard a few of those.
And I was and as I was reading some of the articles, I was thinking, us as people, we're getting a little more soft because I was reading these articles in a different light after that. And I was like, oh, everybody. And unfortunately, Chrissy and John Legend's baby, passed away. And so it was like this one was like more heartfelt than any of the others I think I've ever read from People magazine. It's like I
Really?
almost feel like as a nation, because of what we're gone through and going through, that we somehow have tapped into a little bit of that, feelings. I don't know what those are. No, just kidding. Feelings. But I think that all of us have kind of are now looking at things more relationally and with our hearts, I think. What do you think?
Well, I think, yeah, I think that's true, but I think it's layered and multifaceted because, I also feel fear.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much fear. I mean, and you're seeing it in people. Like there's this hysteria, dramaticness. We're seeing, people react with violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is a portion of the population on the fringes, on the extremes, right, that are so afraid, on either side of the spectrum
Yeah.
that they're overreacting. I
Yeah.
think
The
there's a lot
murder.
of us that are sort of in the
Yeah.
middle, right, that are caught
Right.
between this season we're in where you've got groups of people trying to polarize us. We're all in the middle of this giant tug of war. So one thing that is significant in my observation in the Facebook world is how few political posts there are right now compared to 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that gets to your point, because 4 years ago, it was a war zone on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's still.
Well, no, because
Yeah.
I mean, I have 5,000 friends and see it. So I think in all of it, I have 2 people that still post sort of extreme political.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people that 4 years ago were trying to throw stuff. I think people sort of figured this out. Like, you know what? Relationship is more important than being right.
Right.
And
I get
so I've
inboxed.
seen a back. So it's weird. It's like on the one hand, while the Twitter world and that world, has gotten even more kind of crazy, the you know what I mean? The Facebook community seems to have gone back to trying to go back to being more relational.
Yeah. I hope so.
I don't know if that's a lesson learned, if it's just people are tired.
I think we're tired. I think we're tired.
Well, it's like well, and I think maybe people figured it out that it's pointless. There's you're posting a political comment on Facebook changes
not
0 people's minds. Like
zero people.
Influence, right?
All they know now is
there's been
that you're
endless
radical.
research done on it that there's 0 impact.
Yeah, that's the thing, is now they know that you are whatever you are.
So so what ends up happening,
crazy,
which is kind of fascinating, is that I think people realize that it has 0 impact.
Yes.
In terms of changing people's minds politically. It has a huge impact in turning everyone else off.
Yes.
Right? So what people are realizing is it actually comes back on you, because people are just like, okay, see ya. They just they just scroll right by. I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean?
So is there anything else going on in the world right now?
Oh my God. You know what? If you actually dig into the news, because we're so Michael telling me
I still see a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your friend. Maybe you reduced your friends.
I have 5,000 friends. So no, there's a few out there, but nothing like it. Well, I mean, there were wars. Like,
I scroll over those people.
It was ugly. I mean, I watched friends of mine just destroy. I mean, it was. I'm not seeing that same intensity now. So maybe that's just my little universe. So it's
your universe.
Mine.
It's yours.
I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm just saying it's my world.
So you said there's a lot of news on. So
Well, there, if you get on, you realize that this chaos that you're seeing in the U.S. is happening all France. It's crazy. What, France has been in the middle of riots for a long time. Indonesia started to. Bangkok has, they shut down the internet in Bangkok because people are in the streets. We saw what was happening in Hong Kong. There's a spirit. There's something in the air right now all
I was
over
going to
the
say, what are they
world.
rioting? What are they
What's that?
rioting? What are they writing about?
No, they're in the streets. They're angry at government. It's people that are expressing their frustration.
Yeah, I know. They're at the gun store.
Yeah. So I see a lot of it on the news, but I just haven't seen as much in the Facebook world as I did 4 years ago. And I've been watching it very closely because the sociologist in me kind of is fascinating by what's going on. And like I said, and my 5,000 friends, I only have 2
Wow.
that have been consistently, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, posting a political thing, and nobody comments. Literally 0 comments, hardly at all.
That's because we're tired of it. We're like, we don't care. We don't care what you think about it because it's your own.
You're not going to change anyone's minds.
It's your own. It's your own opinion, your own vote, and you're right. You're not going to change anyone else's mind just because of your opinion. That just doesn't work that like that.
Well, and then sadly, what's happened is because of the fact that the quote experts have been proven wrong so many times, and so the press has been embarrassed so many times that there's basically a skepticism that
you don't trust them.
Exactly. What is it? The press, what's got like a 12 to 15% trust ratio. Yeah. I mean, that's embarrassing. Like, it's like people do not believe anything they say.
No, I watched an interview yesterday, which I hate to say it, I turn it on almost for entertainment purposes only, not for information purposes. So I turned it on. It was a interview about both sides. One was talking about Biden's son, the other one was talking about Trump's son. Okay, so Russia, Ukraine, that was the conversation, and the one party wouldn't even answer the questions at all. It kept diverting to something else. I was like, man, she's never going to answer that question, dude. Would you just stop asking it? Because it's not coming. She's not grasping what you're at. She's not going to give you the information that you're seeking. Like, she's not going to answer this question. So he ended it. I love the way he did. He goes, okay, well, our time's up. And just like, boom, she was gone. It was really funny. I was like, well, there she went, Yeah. Oh, here we go. What's Michael saying? Let's see. To persuade, how do I do and do anything else I say to do? I know, Michael. What are we going to do? I mean, you need to show us the way, Michael.
He's Dr. Svengali. He's just up there manipulating everybody's mind.
I know, he is. He just drops little crumbs on here. Yeah. All the people just go. So,
the great Michael has spoken. We all just need to get in line.
So, Bob, as a coach with your clients, I don't know why I'm jumping into this, but I am. What do you advise them right now to do in their goal setting? Do you tell them to wait till after the election or wait till after the first of the year? I mean, what are you telling them? Just curious.
Well, I tell them they got to focus on their world. I mean, as I said the other night, presidents come and go. Things, all these big picture issues, they come and go. You gotta know who you are. I mean, so the biggest question isn't who they are,
right?
Who are you?
Yeah.
And what are your skill sets?
Exactly.
And if
Exactly.
you're a person of faith, what's God told you to do? So
Exactly.
focus on the things that you can control, like the things
Exactly.
that you are responsible for. You're not responsible for the press or, the political. I mean, those are all out of your control.
Right.
You're a spectator,
You
until
are.
we can vote, and then you can be a participant. But we're a republic. We're not a democracy. People don't seem to get that. Because I hear this all the time about our democracy, and I'm going, no. We're not a democracy, because if we were a democracy, every issue we would have a say in. We don't. We have a representative republic. We vote people in to make decisions for us. But the problem is they don't always make the decisions that we want.
No, we voted them for that, and then they changed their mind. Yes. On their platform. No, I like what Michael said here. He's here to seed the society. Yes, we know this, Michael. I keep asking you for the alien agenda, and you just won't come up with all of it, because, I just need to know. If I'm going to follow your aliens, I need to know what we're doing. Anyway.
Exactly. So, no, I think one of the things that can happen, because remember we were talking about this the other night, the issue of stickiness, right? I mean,
yeah, thank you very much. I used that term after, and then it sounded really awkward me saying it. Just saying it.
Yeah, but people understand there was no context. If you explain, the Velcro, but you've got all these social media platforms that are trying to get you. If you've watched The Social Dilemma, have you seen that on?
I've seen it come up like
several times now, because it's what I talk about in my book.
I know. I need to watch it.
And so if it's people here's, I'm going down now. You got me going down 10 bunny trails.
Oh my goodness!
It's really, really, really important to drill down and get underneath things. And the reason is that underneath is the motive. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you do not understand what I've written in my book, and what The Social Dilemma just came out with, with that documentary, if you do not understand what is driving even what you and I are doing right now, if you don't understand how Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole TikTok, the whole social, if you do not understand the motive,
great, now we're going to be shut down.
You do not understand what's going on, and you end up becoming a pawn in a system that you're just completely naive to. And one of the things that we talk about in the book is they literally hired psychologists, right, to figure out how to addict people, right?
Oh, and they're addicted.
Good human behavior, right? And they developed all this to what? To get sticky, to get us stuck.
Yes.
So there's a concerted, manipulative, purposeful intent,
right,
to make you stick to them.
Yes. And you should be very careful. Now that you mentioned every one of them, Bob, we're now flagged. Just
So then where politics,
the AI is going to pick us up and go shut down.
So now where politics gets into the picture, and the social media, it's the same thing. They know that these platforms were designed.
Yep.
They're flypaper. That's what I was trying to use that there. They're Velcro. They were designed that to create an aroma, to get you to get close, and then once you touched it, you're stuck.
Yes. And that's scary.
And the political arena is using that same tactic, right? Is using the means.
Yeah.
To get there. And so what's happening is and that's what I found interesting about The Social Dilemma. It said the same. The guys that designed all this technology predicted the fact that we're headed for civil war. Like the technology is dividing us, and what it's doing is it's appealing to the worst of us.
Well, the
I
ones
don't mean
that
the
don't
worst
want to
of us,
go.
the worst
No, I
people. I'm
mean,
talking about
right,
our in our brokenness. It's
right.
healing to those broken areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why we're fragmenting. And that's what I was trying to say in my book. Why, in my view, in my own little perspective, why I think that you go back to the teachings of Jesus and the original concept of what Christianity was supposed to be, and it was
Yes.
relational. It
Yes.
wasn't
And
institutional.
right. And it's been so corrupted and so manipulated over ages that there's no semblance of Jesus's ministry. And
Or
there is. I mean,
teachings,
there
right?
is, and people that are seeking the truth will find it, and they will do it as Jesus directs it.
But
But
I mean, it's like right now, in
Mhm.
my view, what's so fascinating to me is his worldview about
Yeah.
our need to love one another is
Yes,
literally the very medicine we need
it
to
is.
cure exactly what's going on right now. I mean, I
Yes.
can't think of a time where I've
Amen.
seen his worldview more relevant than right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always been
Yeah.
relevant, but it's the literal key to stopping the fragmentation.
Yes.
So it's bigger than some nice little sweet gospel story, a cartoon, a children's book, a nice sermon on Sunday. I'm
Right.
talking about the literal DNA of life.
Yeah. Hello. It was in People magazine even. Hello, people. And he actually does say it's because he knows he's supposed to forgive, and he was praying and blah blah blah. So
But
he actually said
again,
it in here, which is hard to believe. I was like, whoa, very happily surprised that there was a
and
good story.
having been
Mhm.
someone who's been in a situation like that, one of
Oh,
the things
right.
that you learn about forgiveness is that our concept always is that the
Yeah.
perpetrator has to forgive, right?
Yeah.
It's that sort of civil justice mentality where there's a sort of a vindictive punishment, and so therefore the perpetrator owes the victim an apology.
Right.
Jesus took it to another whole level
He said that you don't have
where
to. Right.
you, the victim, have,
Has to
well, you don't
forgive.
have to, but
Well,
if you can forgive the perpetrator, you become free.
yeah,
So
that's so
there's two
true.
sides of the equation. Forgiveness sets the victim free as well.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
So that was
Yes.
one of the
And
journeys
people,
I had to learn.
I mean, we all have our stories, right? So we all have our journeys and our stories. And your story can sound, it's kind of funny. After forgiveness, things can sound like they were so hard, which in the time period they were, and very traumatic, very, you know, um, grief, mourning, all of those things. But after forgiveness, it's really funny. And this is my personal perspective, is that I look at that time and go, it doesn't even affect me now because of forgiveness. So
Mm.
once I forgave and realized that it wasn't my responsibility anymore, and I freed up myself, it's almost like I can't even relate to what the feelings were during that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's powerful.
I can't even put myself back in that place. I mean, I can tell the story as a third person,
Mm.
but not as the person that was in it. It's the strangest thing. And it's like I've detached from it. You could say it disassociated, but it was because of forgiveness. I've disassociated from it because of forgiveness, not because I disassociated, which is a different mental thing to do. But I can look back and go, oh yeah, I remember that girl. I remember what she went through. I remember that thing, because of forgiveness, I don't feel it. I don't feel those feelings. I don't, I've totally, surrendered to the freedom of that. And I think that people don't realize how powerful that is
Mm.
if they do it. Like they think it sounds good in context, but they're like, well, I really can't do that. And it's like, well, maybe eventually you can. So when I know somebody's struggling with forgiveness issues, I just tell them, gently, I'll pray for you about that. It'll be in your timing. Here's the thing about forgiveness. Forgiveness takes time. It does. It's not going to happen. You can say, I mean, this guy, he was amazing in this story. He forgave actually pretty quickly, but it's because he had some principles that he already had foundationally, and he knew his wife, who was the one that had died, had those principles foundationally. So that is the point of this always, is going back to your foundation. And if your foundation is cracked, because you have lots of cracks, we all have cracks in our foundation, trying to figure out how to fill up those cracks and get those cracks repaired. And Bob and I, we talk about the person that can help you with that. Right?
Well, one of the things
who's our crack sealer?
Well, again, I see people see Jesus. If you say Jesus, that's why I'm so careful, because the minute you say Jesus, people just immediately think church. It's weird. It's association.
Right.
So the minute you say Jesus, they think religion. Like Jesus is a religious figure. The truth of it is, men made Jesus a religious figure. Jesus wasn't a religious figure. Jesus was a teacher of truth.
In my personal opinion, they made him a religious figure to take his power. Like, they didn't do it to make him powerful. They did it to make themselves powerful.
Right.
Okay, that's enough.
So to me, it's again, one of the things I tried to do in my book was shift people away from a very narrow perspective of Jesus of the church to the God of creation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you see things from the God of creation perspective, then you begin to see that what Jesus was teaching wasn't just some sort of neat little institutional church principles, but he was talking about how the Creator had actually wired us. So here's a cause and effect. And you're aware of this. I don't know how many people really are, but unforgiveness, right, always produces bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And what do we know from science that bitterness produces? It produces sickness in the human body. People get rheumatoid arthritis. Yep. They literally get physical ailments. Yep. Bitterness is not just like a little bug, like a COVID. It's not a bacteria. Yes. It's a spiritual sickness that actually impacts our physiology. And we know that.
Yeah, it gives also it helps with.
So forgiveness, if people could understand this, forgiveness isn't a nice little religious concept. It's literally, again, back to this, it's the way we're wired. It gets into our DNA. Forgiveness is actually a medicine to keep us from getting sick.
Yes.
So it's practical. It's just not some sort of ethereal concept to make us all be really spiritual. Oh, I forgave them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has practical application.
And that's why I'm speaking in a general term, because I'm not going to tell the details of that, because that doesn't matter. Though Michael, please forgive us. Please forgive us.
So do we need to have group therapy?
We do, because apparently.
We need to get in a circle.
He had to forgive us. Thank you for forgiving us and the evil treatment of you. I hope that you're free now.
Mikey's ego is so fragile. We have to be very careful.
We're so sorry, Michael. I'm so sorry. I really am sorry that you're not a top fan anymore.
What?
He keeps going in on my personal page and watching this, I think. That's why he's probably a top fan on the Awakenings.
I see.
Page.
So Mikey,
but wow, we got deep.
Is Michael lost?
We're talk show oppressors. Talk show oppressors. Yay. Thanks.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. And I am one again. Oh, see, he is again.
He's back.
Yay. He's back.
He just made his week. His little ego's been bolstered. He's feeling like I'm the man again. He's going to go out there and have a good week.
See, we didn't even know what we were going to talk about.
To come,
I think it's great when you and I talk and we don't know what we're going to talk about. and then it goes into this
Well, we
place.
go everywhere.
We
So
always go.
what's fascinating is that, you showed me the cover and you were over there in the forgiveness thing. And my mind was thinking about the relationship between the two brothers. And the reason being is one of my favorite books is a book called Born to Rebel.
Oh, not read that one.
The guy that wrote the book was using the sociology of family birth order.
Oh, right.
Family birth order affects your worldview.
Well,
And
yeah, especially
what's
royals.
interesting is that typically, I mean, this is not an absolute, but more times than not, the oldest is the conformist, meaning that the oldest one carries the responsibility, and therefore they carry on whatever the traditions are.
Yes.
As you get lower in the birth order, you get a child that's typically rebellious, right? That doesn't play by the rules. What's interesting
absolutely.
is those are the ones who go on to change the world. They're the ones who challenge conventional wisdom. And he goes through the whole history of humanity and talks about how it's these other children in the birth order. They're all the game changers. And it's because they're fighting the system, right? And so then they go out into the bigger world with this sort of, right? And it's fascinating to me because you're seeing it with the two brothers.
Yeah.
William is all about preserving the monarchy and the stature and the whatever, and Harry is all about, I want to help the poor and the oppressed, and I don't want to stay in this structure. And you know what I mean? And you're seeing the book is being played out on the international stage of the two brothers. And I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, that's what this is about. Yeah, that's pretty much about that.
Where the press gets wicked about it is they blame it on the woman.
Yeah, they blamed it on Meghan Markle.
It's all Meghan's fault. And you're like, really?
Yeah, but she is kind of
about Harry's life and who he is as a person and all this, you know what I mean? It's like he's always been that guy that's kind of pushed the envelope, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I find that just disgusting. You know what I mean? It's like so she's like Delilah, you know what I mean? It's like, they want to paint her as the one that somehow or another seduced him and she's got this
American women.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. The reason they got together was they both are sort of that person that's like, we don't want to live in the box,
Yeah. Yeah. They're totally,
so
they threw the box away.
The William's wife, Kate, they're all
She's
about
perfect.
pomp and circumstance and doing it by the book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Typical firstborns.
That's right. Well, so on my Facebook, I reposted this from somebody. It says, "Tell me something about yourself that sounds totally made up, but it's 100% true." You have something?
Well,
tell something about yourself that sounds totally made up, but it's 100% true. It sounds made up.
That's bizarre. I have no idea. I'd have to think about that one.
I mean, one guy said he survived a lion attack. Of course, then he said, well, it was a cub and it was more like a playful nibble, but it was still a lion. So they're all coming out with these stories, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know my best friend, she sang a duet with Kenny Rogers. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, just things like that. I mean, I was so surprised. I love that, when Facebook has something like this and we can, kind of share something about ourselves. And of course, I can't think of.
Well, we know what yours is.
What?
That you're really an alien.
Oh, shh.
It sounds made up, but we all know it's really true.
It sounds made up. I know. Shh. You're telling the whole world on this platform.
So
the alien ship will not come and get me.
My favorite Martian? God, this is really, we were like old. Are you my favorite Martian or I Dream of Jeannie?
Oh, I Dream of Jeannie. 100%.
Exactly. You're not really then an alien. You're a genie.
Weird. I sang a duet with Dolly Parton in my cassette broke. Michael Jones. Ah. Oh, Michael, you are a funny dude. I want to hear one from Michael. Michael, what is yours? Something that sounds like you totally made it up, but it's 100% true. I mean, I can only think, gosh, I don't know. I've had some bizarre things happen to me, I guess, that sound like they were made up, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to stop and think through my life because I have lots of stories, and I don't know which ones though would be people would go, "Oh, that's not true." So.
I know, that's the thing. Is like everybody knows I was an Irish dancer, so I've danced on stages that were kind of cool and with some artists that were kind of cool in the Irish community. So that's not made up. Like they already know that. I don't know. Who knows? And my stories are too long. Probably so.
That's right, because he's like you know the stories of old, the Greek warriors, they're epics, they're sagas, right?
Oh,
Jason,
I know he's a great writer.
You know what I mean?
Michael's a great
Slaying
writer.
the Medusa, you know. So Michael has epic stories. Like we'd have to do full feature films on Michael's stories, right?
Well, yeah, I have a sordid tale, a sordid tale where, well, in my life, so I was in Virginia twice. So I lived in Virginia, moved to Florida, moved back to Virginia, and with different husbands. I had the first husband. He was a 6-month husband with papers. Okay. It just wasn't. Yeah. Okay. And then the second one. But what was bizarre is that the third, I've been married 3 times. Anyway. So the third one, I go to this place, and one of the people that was in the first husband's story and was quite prominent in it was back in my life in the third husband story. Does that make sense? Like I have this whole tale.
Full circle.
It was the weirdest thing ever. Yeah. Wow. It's one of those. Okay, I win. No, I don't. But it had motorcycle club people in it. That was the interesting part. Bikers. Had bikers. I could make a real Sons of Anarchy.
I was living in California, and my friend Tom Davis wanted to take me trout fishing. So we go up north to this he goes, I know this really remote campsite, right? Not far from a great river, and we'll go up there. So we go up there, drive up in the morning, set up all of our tents in our tent and then our stuff. We drive off and go fishing. We come back about 6 o'clock, and we drive into a massive motorcycle gang, all has driven into our remote campsite and set up shop. So here we are, right? I mean, it was surrealistic. All night long, Steppenwolf blaring, motorcycles, guns going off. And I'm like, this is surrealistic. It's like, we come up there for a quiet time of fishing in God. And the next thing we know, we're in the middle of a gang, and I mean, they just are oblivious. Like they could care less about us. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I didn't sleep. I was waiting for a bullet to go through the tent,
Here's the funny part is like that you mentioned Steppenwolf. The very first time I saw my ex and his band play was Steppenwolf.
Okay. No, but the whole thing was.
We were at a motorcycle rally. We were at a motorcycle rally.
Yeah.
So Steppenwolf and motorcycles.
It was one of those moments in life that was extremely paradoxical, meaning that we had planned this thing for weeks to go have this really quiet weekend in the mountains, you know what I mean? Because we both love mountains and the outdoors. So as we were just so looking forward to getting away from everything, you know. And it's like, I got the perfect place. Nobody knows this place exists. We'll be all by ourselves. And the next thing you know, we're in the middle of complete chaos.
Hey, they're fun. I mean, they're fun.
Laughed, though. We had to laugh.
I was gonna say, didn't you join them? Because they're pretty fun.
No, you know we did. At 4 a.m. we packed up our tent and went home.
Oh no!
Going, what is the point of this? Like, you know what I mean? It's like we can't sleep.
Aw, you would have had fun with them, I'm sure.
It was sad, but it was comical in a way. It was like so surrealistic. Like we were just like, my God, this is just like surrealistic. Like, is this real? Like, it was so bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, there's lots of stories.
A few of those in my life where I'm like, wait a minute, you know, this isn't turning out exactly the way that I had planned this. You know? So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't think of a story. I can't. I mean, you know, it's funny when somebody says they want to do their memoir. I've heard people say that before, that we're not like exactly famous, and you go,
I know. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why is a famous person's life more interesting than a non-famous person's life?
That's a good question. Only
right?
because
so
because they have a bigger audience, I guess you'd say, okay. and their lives are usually pretty private, and you don't really know a person. Their public persona doesn't match their personal persona all the time. I think, and people just are more curious. They want to know, you know, they heard a little bit of gossip about them at one point and think that they just want to dive in and find out if it was true or not.
Again, this is just Bob being Bob. I'm just fascinated how fascinated we are by other people's lives, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, People Magazine. I mean, People Magazine has made a fortune being a voyeur.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Kardashians, who got zero talent, have become multimillionaires because of our cultural voyeurism. Right?
Yeah, but were they really nobody? Because, I mean...
What?
The original Kardashian, he was the legal counsel for OJ, so it's kind of like... Girls. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's how they got it.
You know, what it was voyeurism.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We all, you know, we all were fascinated by this family. So I think some of it, you know,
I'm not,
people identify their own family dysfunction by watching other people. But it's just interesting to me because of the fact that somebody's got this, and you got to understand. So let me just put some context to this. I have spent my whole life dealing with high profile people.
Right.
Okay. Right. So that's why I'm fascinated by this, because the truth of it is once you get on the other side of the curtain, they got all the same problems. Like there's really no difference between you and them. It's a perception that somehow or another, because they have, you know, maybe have music talent or acting, right? They have that they are more interesting than you, but they're not really. They're just, it's a perception.
Right. But I think people always need or think they want to aspire to be something like a person. And I think they put in their heads what they think that person is, and then they aspire towards it. And the problem with that is that when you do actually get to know those people, because I have the same issue, like I'm not starstruck by anyone. And it's like who can I meet right now that I would be totally like, woo, yay. You know, I don't know. I can't even think of somebody. Is it?
But here's whatever. What's interesting. So if you want to dissect this, right? A lot of us are fascinated by stardom because
Yeah.
we want to be a star.
Right. Exactly. So
In
yeah,
other
you
words,
guys
we're
in the
living
comments put who
vicariously
you
through
want to
them because
meet.
we want to be the center of attention.
Yeah. Who would you guys want to meet? Michael, I'm curious about somebody that's alive, not past, because some people put, oh, I'd like to meet, but they're no longer here. So like if you were to walk, who would you want to meet, Bob? I don't have
Well,
anyone. Like seriously, I go, I don't
again,
even
if
have
you
anybody to think
study
about.
sociology, right? In my lifetime, things have changed drastically. It used
Yeah.
to be when we grew up, we had heroes, but our heroes had a bit of a facade because the media didn't tell us all their dysfunctions,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So he got deep on us there. There you go. Very good answer. That's,
Yeah.
yep.
So
I agree with that.
it's
Heather
interesting that
has,
we
oh,
want to
hey,
be
Heather.
someone else.
Heather's here. She says Garth Brooks or Oprah Winfrey.
That's who she wants to meet. Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, gosh,
Well,
I
the
don't
guy,
even
I mean,
know.
he's
Isn't that
dead now, but
terrible?
the guy that I always wanted to meet was Abraham Lincoln. And the reason I wanted to always
Yeah, he's
meet him
dead.
was that I found him to be so genuine, meaning that he wrestled constantly with issues,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
wasn't always sure that he was on the right side, right? He had a
Right.
vulnerability about him and a genuineness and an authenticity that I find very appealing, and yet at the same time, a brilliant mind. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
would have enjoyed meeting him because I think meeting him, we could have had a really frank and deep conversation. You know what I mean? One where
Yeah.
it's like he's not pontificating, because he's got a huge ego and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, you've met the one that I would have,
Who?
John Wimber.
Oh, Wimber. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because,
Yeah.
he was the head of, an organization that I, really followed. And let's see,
Yeah.
I'd want to meet the founding fathers. Yeah. See, me too. I would, Thomas Jefferson to me is so, I don't know, interesting. Tony Robbins and Abraham Lincoln. Okay. So, all right. Thank you guys for adding. Yeah. Thomas Jefferson would be one for me.
Yeah.
Only because he's just so interesting. James
Well, the
Madison would
most
be the second
interesting
because
guy
I
of the
love
founding,
James Madison.
well, the most, in my view, the most interesting of what we would call the founding fathers is Ben Franklin. I mean, you talk about somebody with, a brilliant mind, but he was a bit like Jefferson. Like we would, I
Yeah.
guess the word we use, I don't know if that's still in
Would you
play right
fly
now, is
his kite?
bohemian. What?
Would you fly his kite?
But Franklin and Jefferson were bohemians.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they
And that's
they didn't live
yeah.
in the box. You know what I mean?
That's
They
why
were
that's why I would want to meet him because he didn't conform. He wasn't a conformist, not really.
right.
He battled with his own belief system
Jefferson
and
or Franklin.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Jefferson.
But you
And
see,
so
what's interesting is Franklin and Jefferson loved the French.
yeah.
And if you know anything about French society, it's all about coloring outside the lines.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
so Jefferson, that was one of the reasons why, they sent Adams over to try to deal with the French. And it was like water and oil. I mean, it's just, you had a
Yeah.
legal mind that was super principled and colored always in the line, trying to
Yeah.
deal with a whole group of people that didn't color in the line. So finally, Franklin had to go over there, So, but that's why Jefferson liked the French, because they were very philosophical and,
See, me personally, because on my own perspective, I would want to meet the guy that was in Ireland before he moved here to America. I'd want to meet him in my succession
which
line.
time
Right.
period?
He was in the 1600s.
Ah,
So I'd like to ask him what was going on. Why do you want to come to America? You know,
The reason he wanted to
be
come
it.
to America was because the English had conquered Ireland, and all the Irish people were poor and serfs, and they couldn't own, the English.
Well, he was actually Scottish.
Oh, well, the Scots, that's my clan.
He moved. He had already fled from Scotland to Ireland, and then Ireland. His son then came here to America.
Well, again, the Scot Irish, right? So you've got the Irish go to Scotland for 100 years, and then they come here. Washington was a Scot Irish.
Yeah.
Right. So if you go back and study the history of America, you'd be shocked how many Scots Irish were actually really integral into the founding of our country, because they were very hardworking.
But you have to realize that Scots Irish, the conflict, because half their family is probably Catholic, the other half's Protestant.
Exactly.
It's like, which one do we go? When actually they're the same. Just saying. I don't know if y'all know. It was the same. Yeah. I went to England, and I was at an abbey, and I thought I could have swore I was at a Catholic church. I was not. I was at a Protestant church. I had no idea, because it was called Saint something, and I was just like, I was confused. I was very confused. It's like, he's doing the Eucharist, though. He's doing all the same stuff. I don't get it. So just really bizarre.
The Scots, the Romans kept trying to defeat them, and they couldn't. So they just built the big wall and said, we can keep you on that side. The Scots are tough. You know what I mean? That's,
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. That's probably why I'm so enthralled with them, I suppose.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean, the Roman army with all of its might couldn't beat them, So it's like, well, we'll just hem them in.
I'm sure my family, who was watching, one of them, my sister, I'm sure they get so tired of me talking about our ancestry. They're like, I'm the only one in the whole family that kind of cares. Like I've done all this research for everybody, and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
So here's the $1 million question about your ancestors. That? Which planet are they actually from?
Well, I'm trying. I got back to 900.
Which country did you come from? But since you're an alien, which planet did you guys?
I've gotten back to 900, almost 500. Yeah. So I think before that, I think that's when we came over on our spaceship. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to figure out which hemisphere we came in on. So
I see.
I'm kind of work that out.
Okay, cool. I can't wait to
what planet?
Find out the conclusion.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know. One day I'm just going to be gone, and you guys won't know where I went, and it's going to be because the mothership came and got me, or I was raptured. Y'all have to figure that out. You guys will have to figure it out. One or the other, then you'll know.
Okay.
Now, if you're with me, then I know you were raptured, and that's a rapture. And that's a wrap. Including, that's a wrap for our show today.
All right.
So
let's wind it down.
There
it's kind of grumpy out there today, so you're going to have to be
grumpy.
Your own sunshine.
Don't be grumpy, everyone.
No, I said it's grumpy out there, so we have to be our own sunshine.
Yes. So do some forgiveness stuff if you're dealing forgiveness. Today our topic was forgiveness. So Thursday night we don't have a guest as of now, but Bob and I can always talk. But we do have a guest next week, which is exciting. So your friend Paul.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope people will tune in or get your friends to tune into that, because
next Thursday.
He's got a story, man. It's an amazing story of just overcoming one obstacle after another to find success, and I think his story will be of encouragement.
Yeah. So next Thursday, please tune in for what's Paul's last name?
Kaufman. Paul Kaufman.
So Paul Kaufman,
a Kansas boy from Chase, Kansas.
Yes, his story is great, and so we can't wait to share it. And please tune in. So Thank you, Bob, as always.
All right.
And everybody have a wonderful week. Thank you guys always for being interactive and talking to us. And we really do appreciate you. And we hope that we give you a little glimmer into your week of, something profound anyway. Even if it's just to read People magazine, I don't know. That's profound. But forgiveness this week. Forgiveness. Let's try to work on that with each other and give each other some grace. Don't be offended this week. How about that? So
that sounds good.
All right. Thanks, you guys, and have a wonderful week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.